China hit back at the White House today with another round of tariffs. The new tariffs target soybean farmers and other agricultural goods. Manila Chan joining us tonight for the latest details on this. And of course, we had National Farmers Union President Roger Johnson on last night saying that this wasn't the end of it.
Yeah, and that's exactly right, Ed. President Trump says this is not a trade war, but that's not easing the anti-investors on Wall Street, as we've seen today. Soybean stocks took a dive of about 5% this morning on the news that China would be tacking on a 25% tariff on soybeans. Despite this move, Trump says this, quote, "We are not in a trade war with China. That war was lost many years ago by the foolish or incompetent people who represented the U.S. Now we have a trade deficit of $500 billion a year with intellectual property theft of another $300 billion. We cannot let this continue." Now, that'll have a noticeable impact on these major soybean-producing states. Between these 11 states alone, about 125 million bushels of soybeans are harvested each year. China is their biggest customer. We're looking at a $50 billion industry annually. Many farmers will be hurt by this, states that Trump won handily. The Farm Bureau had this to say. They called it, quote, "the worst agricultural economy in 16 years, and added, "This has to stop. Growing trade disputes have placed farmers and ranchers in a precarious position. We have bills to pay and debts we must settle and cannot afford to lose any market, much less one as important as China's. We urge the United States and China to return to negotiations and produce an agreement that serves the interest of the world's two largest economies." But the Chinese have defended their actions, saying they have no other choice, that the Trump administration's actions in first initiating the tariff threat will ultimately result in global consequences.
We have repeatedly and solemnly negotiated in order to draw the attention of the United States to the fact that their use of the so-called Section 301 and national security justifications to deal with economic issues will, in the end, damage the United States itself, damage China, and harm the world as well. In this situation, we are forced to take countermeasures and propose a list of countermeasure products, with the proposed list and related orders based on evidence.
Now, this newest list of 106 items is in response to the Trump admin's list of about 1,300 Chinese products they'll impose tariffs on. Among some of the other items listed today, American beef, whiskey, tobacco, and many cars, primarily SUVs. So, Ed, these latest rounds of tariffs will hit hard in the American Midwest. And as you said by Roger Johnson, this appears to be just the beginning, Ed.
And what we're finding out tonight is that China is willing to go the distance.